Good morning. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and I got David here. David's got me here. It's coffee time, and we got some games for everybody today. It's getting a little bit sad. A couple more weeks left, and football's going to be playoffs, championship, Super Bowl, and then a whole lot of waiting. But until then, we're going to have fun. Good morning, David. How are you
Hopefully,
today?
I got to scramble to find a flight out there for a parade, but we'll see what happens, right?
That is the worst of your problems, right? Like if that happens, you got a place to stay, you got somebody to pick you up at the airport, and you got to ride to the parade. I tell you, if it happens, oh boy, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I tell you, we've been close. We've been really, really, really close. But this year, I have to tell you, is probably the best year for me to be positioned to be able to get to the parade. So maybe all the stars have lined. The world, the moon, everything is in the right position. So we can only hope, right? Hope, pray, and cross your fingers, cross your toes if you got to, or if you can. Some people can't do that. Hey, let's shout out the chat. We got John LaJoy, great guy, great guy. He's a good friend, and he's got a great channel. And we also have the Sentinel football channel. And yes, he has a channel as well. He does things on YouTube. He drops shorts. He drops, well, maybe not as many shorts, but he drops community posts. He does stuff on YouTube. So definitely give him a like and subscribe. And you'll definitely start seeing him around. He's in a lot of 49er channels, chat groups as well. So David, we were talking a little bit yesterday. The Jets, they kind of blew it with Joe Flacco. And now we're looking at it. Oh, sorry. I trying to get my volume right. Okay, so the Jets in Cleveland played. Cleveland now has Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco seems to have a lot of energy, a lot of youth, a lot of, veteran leadership. He just seems to be that guy that is doing everything right for their team. So Cleveland got it done. They're in the playoffs. Detroit. What did we need Detroit to do yesterday, David?
Lose.
We needed them to lose. And they did.
Shout out to the refs. They had our back right there at the end, throwing those flags. Apparently there was 3 fouls on the play, so no matter what else was going to happen.
So definitely make sure you go back and watch the highlights, because Detroit lost in the Detroit way. But they play in a Detroit way. If you know. But
it's not often the refs are on our side. We got to take it when we can. It's like
this is true. Hey, shout out to Jason. Thank you for coming. The captain is here, and it's really cool. So Detroit, if anybody, hey, we got Crazy Juice. Thank you, Crazy Juice, for coming through. Folks, please go to both streams if you are able to. If you're subscribed to David's or mine, we're going to be streaming on Sundays to both channels, just to get some more likes, get some more, out there. The algorithms start being a little bit more friendly to both of us. So, David, let's get into this Detroit-Dallas game. They went for it on 4th down. Would you have went for it on 4th down? And before you answer, would you have went for it on 4th down, 4th and goal, once, twice, 3 times?
No.
At what point do you kick the field goal and go into overtime?
Well, I honestly, and we're talking about Detroit here. They went for the win, and I can't blame them for the win.
They went for the jugular.
They did. They went for the jugular, but at the same time, it's like looks like you guys need to practice this a little bit, because you had a guy, and it looks like he checked into the ref as an eligible receiver, but I'd never heard him announce it. And then they had a tackle that was uncovered. Those are just 2 of the penalties. There was one more I'm not mentioning, but it looks to me like they need to practice that 2-point conversion more.
So when I went to high school games, when I played football in high school, I always heard the referee call out, so and so number 70. I think that was the exact number last night too. Is eligible.
Yep.
I didn't hear that on the. I didn't hear that on the
I
announcement.
didn't hear it get announced. I saw him walk up to the ref with the white hat, which is the head.
Yeah.
But I did not hear it get announced. So normally that's procedure. They announce that this guy's checking in as eligible. So it was just one of those things. 3 different flags on the same play. That's just plain not meant to be.
No, it's not. It really isn't. And again, if the guy walked up to the ref with the white hat and he made notice, like, hey, I'm here now, right? I'm going to be playing. Great. But I don't know. I've never paid attention too much to it. I want to say I've recall seeing it happen in other games where a player comes out there and then they announce it. But I don't know if they necessarily announce it so much for the television, for like the cameras and stuff. Maybe it's more just for the crowd. But I didn't see that. I seen, like you said, he went up to the ref. It looked like there was some kind of information exchanged, and then the next thing we know, it kind of seemed like they didn't want Detroit to win there. Should we put our conspiracy hats on, or is it just a little bit too early for the morning? I think it's kind of too early, but
Well, it might be a little too early for the morning. Maybe get some more coffee in.
hey,
But
let's shout.
yeah, this could be the storyline, folks. The NFL does some weird stuff, and having more chaos towards the end of the season when it comes to the playoff picture adds all kinds of drama. So I'm not saying that's what it is, but maybe them refs have a gold chains with a 49er emblem hooked up under that uniform. Who knows, right?
Hey, shout out to the chat. We have Caitlin Long in here, Tony Culp, Jason, 49ers Ultimate Report, Tommy Huxley, Crazy Juice, The Sentinel, and John LaJoy. And the Shaw Show. The Shaw Show, if you guys know, he has a channel. He is currently in college and he's finishing up his studies. But don't sleep on his channel. His channel is there. He will be putting stuff out when he has his opportunities. But if you don't see him around, don't fear. He is taking care of business. But he says here, hello, Bryant and David. Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year. New Year hasn't started yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And yes, I had a great Christmas. I believe David as well. And thank you for coming, and thank you for being a good friend. We appreciate you. And when you're ready, come on through. Me and David will love to have you on as a guest again for like a Culp and McNiner show or a great panel some Friday night. Friday night, you have fun or you have some time. All right. So, and then Caitlin says, I think you're right, Tony. I think they were confused. Okay. And then Campbell from Crazy Juice. Let's see what Crazy Juice says. Campbell lost his spot for Coach of the Year. Yeah. I think you're right. I think he is right.
But
hey,
I said, you don't 3 penalties on the same play. Obviously, you guys don't practice this play. It's pretty much all I gotta say about that.
Randy Daytona's in the chat, and he's bringing up some breaking news. I think Dan Campbell got a Venmo late last night from the Yorks. I don't want to put the conspiracy on. Hey, we have to shout out the royalty, or well, you can call them royalty. They don't have too many fans, and this one really, really promotes his team. And I can tell you, I'm in all kinds of 49er channels. I'm even in the press conference comments, and I'm seeing this guy. So shout out to Jim Everett. Yay, bring your VH tapes. We'll watch our tapes together. All right. The Niners DVDs, their Super Bowls are now on DVD. So if that makes you feel a little better, I went to Best Buy. I seen them. So, but we're hoping we put a new Lombardi in that case. It'll give us a reason to dust off our other ones, right? So, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. The Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys. Dallas hasn't beat Too many teams above 500. Well, I guess now they can say they beat Detroit, so maybe that's 2 teams, right? And if it seems to be correct, and we'll look at this real quick. We don't have to spend too much time on it, David, but I just want to throw the overlay on if anybody didn't see it yesterday. The playoff brackets are changing. They continue to change. But with this one right here, it's a good seat. So if you notice Lions and the Rams, that's who potentially is scheduled to play each other. Don't be surprised if the Lions get a shot at the Cowboys again. Do not be surprised. And that's what I wanted to show everybody. So there's a chance. There's still 2 games left. Well, 1 game for some teams, but there's still 2 games left for a lot of teams. And this playoff bracket is still going to change. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move to New England and Buffalo. How do you feel about New England and Buffalo? Is this the last time New England and Bill Belichick are going to be playing the Bills? David, your thoughts?
I really don't think so. It just depends on Bill Belichick and if he wants to step away. You know, right now their big hole is quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, that's literally the Patriots' big hole. They get a quarterback, start moving the ball and scoring some points, then, you know, they're the same old Patriots. But at this point, he's earned the right to step away whenever he wants to. So if all depends on him, he feels like saying, you know what? I've won this many rings. You know, I'm going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm just stepping away. Y'all have a good one. He could do that. I wouldn't blame him if he did too.
So to answer my own question, the question I asked you, I think it's up to him as well. I think if he wants to stay in New England, he has the ability to keep the lights on. He has his own key. He knows all the bills and where they need to be paid, and he has the ability to pay them. So if something happened to Kraft, I don't think that Bill really has to worry about being unseated or pushed out. I think if Bill wants to get up from his chair and leave, I think that's I don't think the Patriots owner really has a choice in this matter. It's kind of like what the Niners did when they tried to change their logo in the 90s. You can suggest it. It's not happening. So, okay. And hey, real quick, anyone else concerned that we're going to have a divisional team 3 times? Sure, it looks like that way from the brackets. It really does. And that's why I'm really interested in the bracket right now, because we have a chance. If we make the number 1 seed, we can end up playing the Seahawks or the Rams for a 3rd time this season. I'm not afraid. It's just something that you need to put the numbers together, and there's a good equation that can come true there. All right, so we got David Corona in the chat, and then he's like saying, "What's up, David? What's up, Bryant? Niners all day." I love it.
Yep.
And then let's go ahead. We got Steve-O in the chat, and then Belichick down here at the bottom with Crazy Juice. Crazy Juice says Belichick is going to the Chargers. And JK, for just kidding, or like
that's
throwing
also
that.
what Steve-O said. Hold on a second. That's also what Steve-O said. Maybe there's a conspiracy going on we don't know about yet, Bryant.
Belichick. Okay, I get it now. Get it. He's going to be a Charger. It could happen. It can happen. Okay, and before we move on, Shasha jumped into the bottom, and he says, if we play a divisional game, I hope it's the Seahawks. I am feeling nervous about next week versus the Rams, which I will be in attendance for. Take pictures, and then drop them on the timeline and stuff. If you guys noticed the picture today on my show, I was a little clever. I actually borrowed from our good friend David Corona. I hope he's still here listening. So I took his screenshot. His picture of Jake Moody, and I put it on the thumbnail. So that's an official picture. So media, the Shaw Show, if you on Shaw, I'll call you anything but ugly, right? If you get a chance to take a couple pictures at the game, please send them out so we can use those. We appreciate you. And I see it. He said he'll do it. Hey, I haven't seen this guy for a while now. What's going on, Bebop? I appreciate you, buddy. I'm glad you're doing good. And we got Kenny as well. Kenny's here. Check out Kenny. All right. So, David, New England and Buffalo. How do you feel? We are just talking about New England possibly losing their coach, but faring against the Bills. How do you feel? Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Bills in this one. They're hot going in. They're making a playoff push. They're actually a very dangerous team in the NFC going into the playoffs. They are.
They are. They are. They're dangerous, and they have to win. They have to win to get this W. Of course, right? But they need to win to stay in the playoff race. They need to win, and let's look to see if they are in the playoff race. I believe they are. No, we don't. Let's go real quick. Here it is. Real quick, folks, look at the AFC side. The Bills currently are sitting at the number 6 seed. So they are not solidified. They are not a fixture. They have to continue to win. So I'm taking the Bills too, because you don't want to get a wild animal in the corner and know that you're up against them and that's it. You get them in the corner. That's your fight. And a big Buffalo against a little Patriot. I mean, it could be a big Patriot, but I still don't like my chances against that. I'm going Bills. Okay, we got the Dirty Birds in Chicago, and the Dirty Birds have to fly in, and I don't think birds like snow. David, how do you feel about the Bears?
I honestly, the Falcons, they're still playing for something. I think they're still technically on the bubble, but they would need a lot of help. And the Bears are just playing for pride at this point. They're already going to end up with Carolina's first round pick, so it's not like they need to lose to move up and draft picks. I honestly think the Bears are going to take this game because I think they figured something out. They got Montez Sweat. Their defense is actually pretty good. Got some young players on it. They're QB and some O-line help away from being competitive.
Are you worried about Jennings' concussion? I know this is a Niner question.
I am. He's listed as out. That's 2 weeks. So, maybe they're just being precautious at this point. But for a player to miss multiple weeks, that has to be serious. And I have had concussion issues and like multiple concussions in a couple of weeks type of things. And it was bad, folks. It was bad. It lingered for a very long time. I had headaches for years.
So this is a question. And again, maybe it's too early, but I'm going to take a drink of my coffee real quick. So do you think that they take the words of a quarterback when the quarterback's hurt and downplay it a little bit when they say that they're okay and they can go back in? And they say, oh, well, he said he can go back in. Let's let him go back in. And do you think they take more precaution with players more like a wide receiver, like Jennings, for example, or, somebody else who's another player on the team who says they have a concussion and they're a little bit more gingerly with that person when we kind of know that the quarterback is essentially the team. They're the ones who make it turn, right? They make it move. So when a quarterback is hurt, do you in a weird way see them pushing him to be healthier quicker and back on the field faster, where maybe Jennings' concussion is being actually handled the right way, where they're not rushing?
That's exactly it too. The person that has to clear them supposedly doesn't work for the NFL. They're not affiliated, or at least that's what they say. But who cuts them is pay him or her. Who cuts them their paycheck?
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, they need to be unbiased. Not related to the team. They can be related to the NFL, the organization, but not to the team. Unbiased, and they need to actually see that the player is good to go. And I've been looking into this, and a lot of it is like they'll have Juwan Jennings come in and work out, physical activities, and if you have a concussion, you'll actually get sick working out. So and this person's watching him the whole time, so obviously he's not getting through his workout, or maybe he's waking up with a headache. There's something going on that's keeping him sidelined. And it's better to keep him on the sideline while that heals.
Yeah, I think we might be onto something there. I think they might be overlooking the quarterbacks a little bit and trying to get them on and saying, again, you said you were okay, buddy. You said you were okay. Where these other players are saying, yeah, you might have said you were okay, but let's take it a little bit, let's take it slow. Let's make sure you're feeling, do you feel anything tingly in your fingertips? Stuff like that. I've had concussions. We've both been talked, and I know it's not fun. And at this point, folks, sometimes I have migraines, and they're where I have to, lights are off, the house is quiet, I have a wet rag on my head, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's not. I don't wish that on anyone. Okay, that's not fun. We got Slavic Niner in the house. Thank you for coming. I did see that Rudy jumped in the chat, and I, for the record, if anybody talks to Rudy, hey, I have no issue with Rudy. He's really funny if you allow yourself to, get into certain talks with people.
If it's the real Rudy, and that is probably the real Rudy right there. That's probably the real Rudy right there.
I don't have too many interactions with him, but if you guys see him, you want to tell him about David or my channel, have him come through. Hey, it's fine. Sometimes it's fun to have somebody from an opposite side, an opposite fan base that comes in. But Tommy says it's the fake account. So again, if you're real or if you're fake, we just want you to be here and have fun, be respectful. So okay, we're gonna go ahead.
Whose channel was that on?
Let's go.
Did it have a clip on it?
I'll go up to the high. Nope, it's on mine. So
okay,
yeah, it's on mine. But yeah. Either way, thanks for coming. We appreciate you. Hopefully, you liked and subscribed to both channels. Okay, so with Atlanta and Chicago, David, you spoke a little bit. I'm taking Chicago as well. It's a home crowd, snowy game. Atlanta plays in a dome. I don't think that they're going to be prepared, especially with as many different quarterbacks that they've been running through. And we all know they're not really playing for the South anymore. This is coming down to the Saints, and it's coming down to the Bucks. And if the Bucks keep winning, they're going to pull away, and no one's going to catch them at all. Okay, let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to play the Indianapolis Colts. They're in a dome. They're also dealing with quarterback issues, but at least the Raiders seem to be able to get behind the one that they have. Even though he's a rookie, they're winning some games with this guy. And if you look at him, he's wearing the same number as Derek Carr. And if you quickly look at him, quickly look, and I wear glasses. I know you wear glasses too, but I'm looking at him and I'm seeing Carr. I got a double look and see, is that Carr? And I'm looking at his face mask, his helmet, and it kind of gets. So I'm like, did they go after another Carr? And another guy isn't Carr, but still, it's just a lot of too many similarities there. Okay, maybe the guy could wear, I don't know, do something different with his hair or something. I don't know. But I have to tell you, I think it's going to be the Raiders in this game. How do you feel, David? The reason I think it's going to be the Raiders too is
yes, I picked the Raiders. Main reason why is that coach Antonio Pierce hasn't playing hard. Last week their defense won the game. Their offense hardly did anything, but their defense won the game. They're finding ways to win, and that's a sign of a good head coach. Yeah, and I really hope the Raiders could just keep their head coach, their intern head coach, because too many times just switching, sooner or later you got to believe in somebody. And if you're just switching out everybody in the locker room, then the people that are in there in the locker rooms are going to be looking around and saying, we're not going to be here for long. Nice to know you. And then you don't build relationships because you don't plan on being around for very long. So it wasn't the real Rudy, an update on that. And folks, I've actually known Rudy for some years now. We've gone back and forth a lot. And he has season tickets. He does. He has season tickets, so it's well known that he's going to be at the game. You know, he doesn't have
But
to
this
say
game,
anything about it.
the game for the Niners though is going to be in Santa Clara this upcoming. But his game's in New York. But what he was talking about was he was going to buy his tickets to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and so you can watch us play. I guess I don't know.
You can still go to the Super Bowl. You know, be another fan, and you know your team not be in it.
Hey, we got Gammon here. Thanks for coming, Gammon. All right, David, let's move to Arizona and Philadelphia. The red chickens and the purple chickens. I want to see Arizona win. I want to see him win. That would help us out a lot.
I got the mighty midget Murray stepping up here and beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I think their old DC cruises on in with knowledge about what to do with that offense, and his shiny quarterback, which I honestly think the Kyler Mighty Midget Murray is better than Jalen Hurts. So, and they're pesky. Them Cardinals are pesky. I don't care what anyone says. Them red chickens, they will attack. So we'll see what happens. But I got the Cardinals winning this game.
So Steve said, did y'all see Devo wearing 13 jacket with MVP on it? I did not, but I'm gonna go and look. Tony said, Steve-O, yes, let's freaking go. Yes. That's awesome. So the team is definitely backing Purdy. And if there was, Sentinel seen it, double vest, let's go. So there's 2 games left. I can't say that Purdy took himself completely out of the running. He would have to have a couple of spectacular games to get himself maybe noticed a little bit more again. But I'm not worried about the MVP. I'm worried about who's going to be in the Super Bowl. And I want our team to be hosting the Lombardi at the end when it's all said and finished. That's what I'm worried about. But if he ends up getting like MVP along the way, hey, I ain't going to be mad at you. But
so if that happens, Bryant, I'm gonna need one of these with 6 Lombardis.
Yep. We'll get
49er symbol.
Yep. We can do that. We can make that happen. Okay, so folks, we are moving to New Orleans and Tampa Bay, and Carr needs this game. Tampa Bay is ahead. If they continue to win, Tampa Bay will be that team in the playoffs. Tampa Bay currently is the 4th team in the playoffs. They have not solidified their record yet because the South is still up for grabs. There's only one game right now that holds the tiebreaker or holds them up. So if New Orleans can get it done today, then they can come within a game of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then week 18 that would be the deciding factor. Just to be ornery, David, I'm taking the Saints.
Ooh. I got the Bucks in this one because they're at home, and I believe they've won 3 straight.
Baker's cooking.
Baker is cooking. Crazy Juice asked a question. Does he really have season tickets, or does he just say that to seem cool? He really has season tickets, Crazy Juice. I've seen him, like me and Rudy, we got each other on a couple social medias. We go back and forth a lot more than you guys even know. But yeah, I've seen the pictures, and he's at their stadium every home game.
All right.
Levi's Inglewood.
Shout out. Okay, we're gonna jump San Francisco and Washington. We'll leave that one for the end. It's almost time to begin. Carolina and Jacksonville. David, how you feel? You know how I feel. But Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be playing. So we got CJ Beathard. Another great quarterback I like. If you guys don't like CJ, hey, I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you CJ, to me, is solid. He's got a lot of heart. He's strong. He can throw the ball like 80 freaking yards. Okay. Shout out Marquise Goodwin. CJ got us that one win, man. The one win before we had Jimmy. We were like 1-9 or 1-8, and here we go. So CJ just kept standing in the pocket. He'd get hit. We had a bad offensive line. Maybe he's got cement feet, and he can't dance too much or too well. But he kept getting up. He kept getting up, and it was almost like every time you seen the Niners get sacked, that was like our fan base getting hit. But then you'd see him get back up, and that's what gave us, something to believe in. And he held it down until Jimmy came in and did his thing. And sadly, CJ left the team, and now he's in Jacksonville, and he's getting an opportunity to start. Now, no, this is not going to be his forever start. This is not him taking the team from Trevor Lawrence, because you got to do some work, a lot of homework for that one. But I do believe that CJ can come in there and take the Jacksonville Jaguars to victory against the Panthers. How do you feel?
I feel like CJ Beathard can do it. And, with that running back they have, what's his name? Ate?
ETN.
I've never Etienne. With that running back, he could totally win the game. Just handing off, occasionally has to make a throw. He doesn't have to put the team on his back and carry him. And the Panthers, their defensive backs are actually the strongest part of their defensive unit. So they'll be able to run the ball against them.
It's a hard.
Thank you, Randy.
It's like ATN. I had a hard time breaking it down too. So if he can get going, that's the thing. So we'll go to another Florida game or another Florida team, and this game could possibly be the game of the week: Miami versus Baltimore. How do you feel?
I honestly think this is going to be kind of like the number one defense against the number one offense. That could be the matchup. The Miami Dolphins defense isn't bad, but there isn't good. They're about middle of the pack. The Baltimore's offense, it's pretty much all on Lamar Jackson's back, which you would expect a franchise quarterback to actually be able to do. And I could see this being a high-scoring affair, a fun game to watch. I probably won't be watching it because, I'll be watching the 49ers game, folks. But I put the Ravens down, didn't I? I got to make sure here. No, I picked the Dolphins in this one, buddy. Yes, I picked the Dolphins in this one. Might have something to do with the NFL liking the late season drama.
I picked the Dolphins too, and the reason I picked the Dolphins, I'd like to get that little extra, push that the Niners, need. It doesn't really affect the Niners too much, but it definitely is interesting. And when teams play the Niners the next week, they lose. I like that little fun fact being, always continue to be added on to, even if the win streak or the losing streak's been broken. I still think that's pretty awesome. You play the Niners and the next week you're beat up. Also with Baltimore, I think it's starting to be clear, if you take Lamar Jackson off that team, they are not the team that you think they are. Lamar did not dominate us. Lamar played sound football. He played football where we were exploiting on ourselves. We were turning the ball over, and his defense was making plays. So what did he do? He did what he could do to not make mistakes, right? He wasn't Superman out there. He had one big run on us, and everything else, he just kind of just stayed in the pocket. He threw passes that were incomplete. He threw passes that were completed as well. But it was almost like at a certain point, he knew he didn't have to do anything except not turn the ball over. He played an ultimate game manager position at that point. He was the game manager of that game. Because he didn't have to be the superstar quarterback. Brock Purdy was trying to superstar comeback, right? With all the passes and stuff. And, you take maybe 2 of those turnovers away. You take the first turnover away in that game, and Debo catches that touchdown. The Niners right there, we're rolling. It's a way different game. Okay. It's not 5-3 or whatever. It's a way different game, right? And then you go back down, at halftime. If we don't punt at halftime and we go down and score It's a different game, right? They had a big return on us, and that helped. Again, it's not all Lamar. So if Tua can come out here and show that he's got a name and he has the ability to get things done, and people should be looking at him too and be thinking about swimming instead of riding, then yeah, I think this could be. And Sentinel brought it up. This could be the AFCC, the AFC championship game. It could be. I think David, I think you have the Dolphins and the Browns get in there, or the Dolphins. Yeah, you have the Dolphins. You have the Dolphins get in there. You have the Browns get in there, but you also see the Ravens could get there, and I'm right there with you. So we'll just keep it at that. We're going to go ahead and move on to Tennessee and Houston, the battle for the Oilers, and I think it's just really funny because Tennessee is no longer in Houston. They are no longer the Oilers, but the Oilers have asked to use the Tennessee Titans' old uniforms, old colors, Oilers, and they've been denied. Several times they've been denied. And in fact, it's gotten to the point where Tennessee says, oh, you want to use the Oilers uniforms? Well, we're really the Oilers. And guess what? We're going to wear our throwback uniforms against you. So if you guys go back and look at some of the highlights of the Titans and the Texans playing, you'll see them in the Oiler uniforms. And that is just one of those, that's just one of those jabs, one of those, like pressure points again that the Titans are giving the Texans. This is a rivalry. I really, really love the fact that they have to play each other twice a year. They don't like each other. They do not like each other at all. David, I'm taking Houston because I just feel Houston at home they're gonna get it done. How do you feel with this game?
I'm also taking the Houston Texans over the Houston Oilers. Oh, I mean the Tennessee Titans and D'Amico Ryans. That's the main reason why, is D'Amico's got that team playing hard. No one expected him to be this good.
No. I mean, like there was some, some people were like, oh yeah, but a lot of people are like, no, they're about a year away or so. But the way he's been able to come in and really culture shift, he's got everybody. This is how we're going to believe. This is what we're doing, and we're going together. And D'Amico, he might actually turn out to be in a better position. And I'm not going to. It's too many years, and you can't see it. And I'm not Nostradamus, but D'Amico might be the one out of all of the 49ers coaching coordinators that's become head coaches to have the best success. And I know you got the Dolphins over there, and you got a lot of different teams right now, but the Jets, we'll see what happens next year at the Jets. Okay, so let's move to Pittsburgh and Seattle, and we have a couple of friends that will be at the game. Jason will be at the game. Joe Stevens will be at the game. If you guys aren't following them, please go follow them. Subscribe to their channels. They do a lot of great work. They do things with us as well, and it's a lot of fun. Pittsburgh, I don't know how many towels they can get into that stadium up there, David, but that stadium is going to be loud. I definitely know that there will be some yellow in that stadium. I'm taking Seattle. I don't want Seattle to win, but I just got that feeling Seattle's got that. They're pushing right now, and whatever Pete Carroll's chewing on the sidelines, he's got the energy that is pushing this team. It could be, Pete Carroll's last dance. I don't know how much longer he's actually going to be coaching. It doesn't seem like he's going to just walk away from the game at this point. But you got to think, is that what he wants? Is just to be able to have that miracle ending? You get to Super Bowl, you host the Lombardi one more time, and then you're done. Or is he one of those guys we're going to wake up one day and read in the obituaries that Seahawks need a new coach? Because the guy doesn't seem like have you heard any news about his retirement or his potential ongoing career? I just know he's their coach, and it doesn't sound like they're looking for another one anytime soon.
I haven't heard anything about it, buddy.
Right now,
you see what happens.
Yeah, right now he's probably the best coach in the division, and we root for the Niners, but Pete Carroll's been to the Super Bowl multiple times. He's been around on multiple different franchises, and yeah, I think I think Seahawks get it done. How do you feel? Pittsburgh and Seahawks.
I got the Seahawks at home winning this one. They're making a late season playoff push. The NFC West could end up with 3 teams in the playoffs at this point.
Yep.
Could. We'll have to see what happens with the rest of the games.
Most definitely. Okay, moving to Chargers and Denver. Chargers are, I think we said this already. This is a dumpster fire. This is a toilet bowl. Chargers, they don't have a quarterback right now. Well, they have a quarterback. They got Stick, but their quarterback's got a broken thumb. Denver benched their quarterback so they don't have to pay him so he doesn't get hurt. I'm taking Denver, even though I think it'd be fitting to see Denver lose. Just kind of, like the football gods, where are you, right? When it comes out like that, like that's what happened with the Raiders last year too. You benched Carr, so if he got hurt, you didn't have to pay his guaranteed money. All right. Wow. Thanks.
Well, Stidham's good for one game. I got the Broncos too, but Stidham's good for a game.
Yeah.
He proved that last year against us.
Yeah. Denver will be starting Trevor Siemian, and the Chargers will be starting Easton Stick. And both quarterbacks could make noise. Trevor Siemian's been on multiple different franchises, and he knows how to run a offense. So I think Denver could win, but I just don't like that, David. We don't want you to play anymore because if you get hurt, we don't want to pay for your injury policy. I think the league should really find the crap out of teams that do that. I really think so. Cincinnati and Kansas City. Cincinnati was maybe a couple of weeks ago. I would be going with Cincinnati in this one because just the situation that they were in. But currently, right now, even though they have a quarterback that can put up numbers and stuff, I think Kansas City needs this game a little bit more. It's just getting closer and closer to the end of the season. I think the Swifty effect is real. I think Chiefs get it done. How do you feel?
I feel like the Swifty effect is real too, and but I totally see the Chiefs winning this game. But more on the Broncos Russell Wilson situation. Remember what happened to us a couple seasons ago? We had a quarterback under contract, and he had an injury clause in the contract where if we cut him while he was injured, we owed him X amount, and it was a big cap hit, and we couldn't let him go.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying we didn't do the wrong thing. We kept him on the roster and then renegotiated his contract so he made less. But it was one of those situations where our hands were tied. And the Broncos are trying to keep themselves from having their hands tied with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily blame them, but at the same time, I honestly think they're going to trade him this offseason. I don't think they're going to cut him, folks. There's going to be an NFL team that wants him more than everyone else.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
And that's a good point. And it really is. But the difference, I think, a little bit with the Niners and stuff is he got to the point where he was injured. So then you just nailed it. Our hands were tied. And then with this situation, because it's not there yet, I think the NFL should step in and say, hey, we obviously can see you doing this. You can see you doing this. I mean, like maybe the locker room or maybe the organization should go to him and say, hey, you're hurt, right? You're hurt. Here's some money. You're hurt, right? But you're not that hurt where you need to go on IR or something like that, right? You can still pass a physical. I'm not, we know there's deals that are done in the locker room and even in the organization somewhere, maybe in a hallway somewhere, but it's just, I just don't think this is right. I think everybody can clearly see that they're just benching him so he doesn't get hurt. And David, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. Let's move to Green Bay and Minnesota, and then we'll jump to San Francisco and Washington, and we'll sing our MICKEY. Green Bay and Minnesota. This is a battle. It doesn't really matter at this time. everything matters. Everything does. It adds up at the end. One of these teams, whoever wins, Green Bay or Minnesota, depending on next week, could be in the same situation, still not making the playoffs. Take, for example, Green Bay wins this week and Minnesota loses. And the following week, Minnesota wins. Minnesota will be playing. Minnesota's playing Detroit. Okay, so say, just for example, Green Bay beats Minnesota this week because they're both, I want to say, 7-7 or 7-8. And then next week, somehow Minnesota goes in and beats Detroit. Their record would be identical, saying, let's see who Green Bay plays. Green Bay plays Chicago. So say Green Bay beats Minnesota and loses next week. They're not making the playoffs. That's what I'm getting at. Unless these two teams can get 2 wins and then the Seahawks and the Rams can get 2 losses, they're not getting into the playoffs. So right now it looks like the North, the only person in the North that will be in the playoffs is Detroit. And with Detroit losing, just yesterday, do you really see Detroit losing next week to the Vikings?
No,
I don't. So
they have an extra day of rest too. On top of that, the Packers beat the Rams. So if the Packers win, that just ups their stock quite a bit, because I believe didn't the Rams play on? Did they play on Thursday?
Rams play. Well, they play today. They played maybe last week on Thursday. Let's see.
Yeah.
Last week, New Orleans last week. So, wow. So if Green Bay does win the next 2, which is possible, they could beat Minnesota here, and then they could beat Chicago. And then say today the Rams lose against the Giants, which I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But if the Rams was to lose against the Giants and then lose next week, the Rams could be the one out of the playoffs and Green Bay could get in. I just don't see Minnesota doing it. If Minnesota was to win today and then possibly win next week, but again, they're not winning next week. They're going to lose one of these games, either today or next week.
Yes.
But there is a situation where Green Bay potentially could make the playoffs if the Rams lose. So Minnesota, I think, has a harder chance to get in there, a mightier chance to get in there. Okay, David, how do you feel with San Francisco and Washington? We both are 49er fans. Everybody knows that we're going for the Niners, but what's something that you're interested to see change, get cleaned up, fixed from the Niners this week against the Commanders?
The penalties. We had 10 penalties accepted. We actually had more than that last week, folks. For 102 yards, we gave the Ravens first downs when we had a third down stop. We need to clean that up. We can't be giving people first downs in a tough battle like that. And at this point in time, there's no better time to clean it up. There was no better time for a punch in the face and the kick in the ribs. There really wasn't. Right before the playoffs, bring us back down to earth, reality, know that we're mortal and have to play the game just like everybody else, right?
That's right.
And on paper, we should just destroy the Commanders. But keep in mind, folks, this is their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing as hard as they can. So I do expect us to win this game, walk out of there with a victory. And that's pretty much that.
Oh, wow. You said it. You really did say it perfectly. The penalties, I'd love to see them clean up the penalties. We had too many penalties for too much yardage given up. When you're just giving up free yardage and you're giving the ball to the other team, turnovers, you can't win like that. Cannot win at all. Washington, I expect them to play us like the Ravens play us. I expect them to blitz us from the corners. I expect them to keep their linebackers deep in coverage in the middle of the field where we like to throw the ball. So I would like to see a little bit more of the dump off to CMC on the side. Let's if they're not going to be blitzing us in the middle, then let's run the ball down the throat. Let's put it on the ground and let's run the ball. Let's get 40 yards rushing. Let's get back to 49er football. And when you do get an opportunity to expose the middle, let's do it. Let's do it. So David, thank you very much for coming. Folks, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next Sunday on both channels again. Please, if you're on one channel, go subscribe to the other channel, hit the like. If you've done it on both, we really appreciate you. It really does. It really helps everybody. We have a lot of fun. Sundays are suit and tie. That's the Student Tie show. We are breaking down the games here soon. Sundays, our games will be coming to an end, but we will be continuing on. If there's one of you that would like to come on the show and do an interview with us, do a guest show, this would be the day to start letting us know about it. And we will be around. So, folks, thank you again. David, thank you again for coming. Do you have anything going on the later in the day that you want to let the great people here know?
I will more than likely be doing a quick, week 17 review before the evening game happens, just to update the playoff picture and look at the absolute mess that has been created by the day. Yes.
Well, definitely tune in for that, and it should be a lot of fun. David, anytime David goes live, he's always fun. It's always fun. Guys, stay faithful. I hope you enjoy the game. Stick around your family, your friends. Enjoy the new year. Try not to blow any fingers off, okay? And with that, I think we're going to be out of here. David, would you like to send us out?
Hey, it's always go Niners. And as Curry would say, F all 31 others.